Hi guys, so in today's video I'm going to be doing one that I wanted to do for actually quite a long time. It's going to be my best or like favourite drugstore foundations, and I've been getting quite a lot of requests to do this recently. I think because a lot of people have got prom coming up. By the way, I'm going to be doing a drugstore prom tutorial sometime this week. But yeah, I thought that I would just talk about my favourite drugstore foundations because pretty much all of my foundations are drugstore. I have one high-end foundation, which is the Kat Von D Lock-It foundation, which to be fair is my favourite foundation of all time, but it's £27 and like that is a lot of money. So I thought I would just talk through my favourite from the drugstore. So I'm not going to do these in any particular order, but I am going to do them by brand. So the brand that I actually have the most foundations by is L'Oreal. It probably comes as no surprise to you guys because the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Foundation I have used in so many videos, it's actually a bit of a joke. So yeah, may as well start with this one. This one is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour. This is just the original one, it's not the matte one, it's not the, what's the other one? Total Cover, it's not that one. This is literally just the original that comes in the glass bottle. It's got a kind of like red lid. And I have the shade Porcelain. This is probably the lightest or the palest out of all of my foundations, which is one of the reasons why I absolutely love it. I've actually been through 2 bottles of this already, which is quite rare because I normally, when I get to the end of a foundation bottle, I would just use one of my other foundations, but I was like, no, I can't go without this. It's one of my foundations that I wear on an absolute daily basis and I absolutely love it. Just for reference, my skin is incredibly oily. Yeah, it's just really oily, which is really annoying, but I find that this is one of the most long-lasting foundations from the drugstore that I own. So if you do have oily skin, I would really recommend it. I also feel like it would work for normal skin, combination skin. I feel like it could work for dry skin as well. However, I'm not too sure because I feel like it might pick up on dry patches a little bit, but not as bad as some of the other ones that I'm going to talk about. So, and it's not going to break the bank because this is $9.99, and yeah, I just love it, it's my baby. So next one is actually a new discovery, and this is one that people have raved about literally for years. This is the L'Oreal True Match. I've only had this for about a month, but I have actually been wearing this on a daily basis recently. I have the shade 1N, which is actually a little bit too dark for me. I kind of wish that I got one of the other colours, but I don't know if they would have been better. But I actually really like this foundation. It is also $9.99, so again, not going to break the bank. The thing that I would say about this is it's a little bit more drying than the Infallible, I would say. So if you do have dry skin, well, I don't know, people with dry skin might use this, but I personally find that this is more drying than the other one. As in, when it goes on, it kind of feels like a liquid to powder sort of finish. Maybe that's not the best way to describe it, but I do find that this one picks up on dry patches a little bit more. Oh, and I forgot to mention the Infallible one has got like medium to full coverage, I would say, and this one has probably got like medium to full coverage as well. But yeah, I do really like this foundation, so I would give it a go if you haven't already. So the next one that I've got, this is actually nearly empty because I've used it loads. This is the Infallible 24-Hour Matte Foundation. So this is the matte version. It comes in a plastic tube. This is $7.99, so it's £2 cheaper. And I do really like this foundation. I've used it loads. I've used it quite a lot for filming. When I first got this, I used it a lot more, but I don't really tend to use it anymore just because I have ones that are better. It says on the back that it's a medium texture and high coverage. I would say that this does have pretty high coverage, but the thing that I don't like about this is it's a little bit dark for me and it's a lot more pink toned than the other ones, which is strange. I find the ones that come in the squeezy tube are like a little bit pink, and my neck is quite sort of like yellowy, so yeah. That's the thing that I don't like about this and what puts me off wearing it. But if you are more kind of like pink toned, then go for it. Also, I think this is the shade Porcelain as well. I'm gonna do like a close-up on my arm of the different colours to like show you guys. But yeah, I think this one is in Porcelain. And then the final one from L'Oreal, which is a pretty new one as well, is the Infallible Total Cover. So I've pretty much tried all of the Infallible foundations. I do really like this one. The thing that I love about this is it is really lightweight on your skin. Like, you might have seen other people review it, you might have seen other people be sponsored using this, but it genuinely is like so lightweight. Out of all of my foundations, it's probably the most lightweight feeling on my skin, which is weird because it's kind of like a moussey texture and it's quite thick when you like squeeze it out, but when you like blend it into your face it feels really like refreshing and it does feel really lightweight. So this one is matte and again it's got high coverage. It does have really good coverage, and this is also in the shade Porcelain, but again this is a little bit pink for me, and also I find that it separates kind of strangely on my chin, which I don't notice so much with the others. But I mean, I do think for a drugstore foundation it is actually pretty good. I think when I got this it was $7.99. I'm not sure if it's gone up now to $9.99, but I got this for $7.99. But I do like it, it's just that it doesn't quite last as long as the other ones do. So this is the Infallible, the original one. This is the True Match, this is the Infallible Matte, and this is the Total Cover. So hopefully you can see there that the last two that I mentioned are definitely more pink toned than the others. Okay, so next is by Revlon. I've only got one foundation by Revlon, but this has to be my all-time favourite drugstore foundation. This is the Revlon Colour Stay, and this is the formula for combination to oily skin. They do also do this for dry skin, I think, or like normal to dry skin, but yeah, obviously I got the combo oily one because my skin is oily AF. And I get the shade Buff in this one, which I find pretty much matches my skin perfectly. They do have a lighter shade, which is Ivory, but again, I think that one is a little bit too pink for me. This one is pretty much the perfect colour. It's really good coverage, and this one is probably, along with the L'Oreal Infallible, this one lasts like the longest out of all of my drugstore foundations. And again, I pretty much wear this on a daily basis. I kind of swap between this one and the L'Oreal Infallible, but I would say that this one takes the cake or takes the biscuit, whatever that weird phrase is. This is just like my favourite foundation from the drugstore and I love it. I think it's $9.99. Well, I always get it for $9.99. Ooh, somebody's messaging me. Whoa. Whenever I buy this, it's normally on special offer for $9.99. I just absolutely love this. I think I've repurchased this 3 times, which is pretty good. I then have a few by Rimmel, and I do actually really like these as well. I really like Rimmel's foundations. The first one is the Stay Matte foundation in the shade Light Porcelain, and I do really like this foundation. It's one of the cheapest ones in this video. It's $5.99. Again, it's got the same kind of like thick moussey texture as the L'Oreal Total Cover one does, and this has also got really good coverage. I know a lot of people don't like this because they think that it's way too cakey, but personally I actually really like it, and I find that it lasts really well considering my skin is so oily. So I would actually really recommend this. However, the issue again that I have with this one is the colour is slightly off. This one is a little bit too pink toned for me, which sucks because I do actually like it as a foundation, and I think for $5.99 this foundation is amazing. So if you do have oily skin and you're slightly more on like the pink tone side, then I would definitely recommend this. I mean, it's not the best foundation in the world and it is a little bit cakey, but to be honest, considering like it lasts pretty well on my skin, I think that it's pretty good for $5.99. Oh my god, I just dropped one of my glass bottles on the floor. I'll get that at the end of the video. The next foundation that I had to talk about, I did just drop one on the floor, but I'll get that later because this is the same one, just in a different colour. This is the Rimmel Match Perfection, and this one is in Light Porcelain. The one on the floor is in Ivory, I believe. This one is like a new addition to the shade range because they never used to do it, which is why I have Ivory. But I used to wear this foundation all the time, especially in the summer. I like this because it's pretty light coverage, to be fair. Like, it doesn't really give that much coverage. Well, it gives a little bit, but it's definitely not like full coverage. I would say it's like light to medium coverage, and the finish of this one is a little bit more like dewy, which is why I quite like it in the summer. It doesn't pick up on dry patches or anything, which is great. Again, it's not like the most long lasting because it's more of a dewy finish, but then I think it's pretty decent. Like, this is pretty good. I did also used to have the Rimmel, I think it was 25-hour foundation, which has got like the red lid, and I did really like that one. I used to love it. I think I wore that to my GCSE prom, but I haven't tried it in ages, so I feel like I need to try that again. So this one here is the Revlon Colour Stay, which is pretty much an exact match for the skin on my face and neck. This one is the Rimmel Stay Matte foundation, which is the kind of moussey one, so as you can see it's pretty pink. This one is the Rimmel Match Perfection in Light Porcelain, and this is the Match Perfection in Ivory, which as you can see is a bit too dark. The next one I guess doesn't quite count as drugstore, but then at the same time it's not high end. This is £13. This is the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. I have the shade 00 Light Natural. You can get this on Beauty Bay. I think that is the only place you can actually get it in the UK. But yeah, I really do like this foundation. The only downside to it is they did used to have a colour which was shade 01, and that was their lightest shade, and that was like 5 shades too dark for me. They then came out with 00 Light Natural, and this is still too dark for me. Like, they need to make one which is even paler, because this is still like pretty dark. However, I do really like this foundation. I like the formula. It's a really nice formula. It's not the most long lasting on my oily skin, but then it's definitely more long lasting than, you know, like the Match Perfection and stuff. So yeah, I do really like it. It's got really good coverage, and I think if you have kind of like normal skin, I think this is going to be really good for you. So there is a swatch of it there on my hand. As you can see, it's pretty damn dark. So the next one that I'm going to mention is actually the cheapest out of all of the foundation So the next one I'm showing you guys is actually the cheapest out of all of the foundations that I've shown in this video. This is the Collection Lasting Perfection foundation. I think this is either £4.99 or £5.99 depending on where you buy it. This is also the shade Porcelain, but this is definitely not porcelain because I have the same issue as the Milani foundation with this one. It is too dark for me. However, for such a cheap foundation, I think it does a really decent job. It's got pretty good coverage, it lasts a pretty good amount of time. It is quite thick, but then, I don't know, I actually think this is pretty good. I have worn this like for kind of like a full day before, and it didn't look horrendous at the end of the day. As you guys know, I did loads of like testing videos, and I tested out a bunch of really cheap foundations, and this is the only one that I kind of like kept and wore again, because all the others were just so bad that I threw them away. Well, most of the others were so bad that I threw them away. Whereas considering this is so cheap, I think it actually does a pretty good job. So if you are a bit darker than me, then I would suggest giving this a try, because the colour is a bit off. Again, I have to like mix in stuff with this because it's too dark for me. This also does oxidize a bit, which you need to be quite careful of, and that's another thing which sucks, because then when you put it on your face it does get like a little bit darker. But yeah, as you can see, it's a little bit dark. It's kind of similar to the Milani one, just not quite as dark, but I feel like when it oxidizes, it's pretty much the same shade as the Milani one that I showed you guys. I've just got foundation in my hair. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, so the last two foundations that I have to... What is wrong with me? Like I was saying, the last two foundations that I want to mention are both by Bourjois. One of them is practically an empty tube. If you guys are an OG subscriber, oh my god, I think I used to wear this a lot last summer. This is the Bourjois 123 Perfect CC Cream, and even though it says a CC cream, this is pretty much a foundation because it has really good coverage actually. This one I have in the shade 31 Ivory, and I used to wear this all the time in the summer. I think just because it's quite lightweight feeling, and the fact that it was called a CC cream, I thought, oh, this is like good for my skin and stuff. I don't really think it is, but yeah. I think this is really good actually. Bourjois do some great foundations. I just haven't really worn this much recently because again, it is too dark for me. Story of my life. And I stopped wearing this when I realised that there were other foundations on the market that are paler. It's not the most long lasting because it is pretty like glowy and dewy. Nearly dropped the other one. The reason I always drop stuff is because I'm sitting on my bed and I'm literally surrounded by products and stuff just like rolls onto the floor. I think this one is £9.99, which is a little bit more pricey than the other kind of like summer foundations that I showed you guys, but I do think it is really good, and I think if you have dry skin then you're gonna love this because it does feel very moisturising. And then the final one that I have to mention, I'm sure you guys have all heard of. I haven't actually worn this in ages, but I used to love this, which is why I'm including it in this video. This is the Bourjois Healthy Mix Serum Foundation. For some reason I have the shade 52 Vanilla, which is not the palest shade. I don't know why I bought this one, but yeah, I used to love this foundation before I discovered that there were others that again were paler and lasted longer on my skin. This doesn't last all day on me, but I do really love it. I love the finish, I love the smell. It smells like apricot yogurts or like frubes, like it smells so good. And yeah, I used to wear this all the time, and I kind of want to just smell it now because oh, it brings back so many memories. Oh my god, I love the smell so much. Is that weird? I just absolutely love the smell. This is one of the reasons why I loved putting this on my face. But yeah, I think if you have normal or dry skin, then you are going to love this foundation, so definitely give it a try. This is $9.99. I'm pretty sure when I used to buy this, it was like $11.99 or something. But yeah, not bad. I would recommend. Oh my god, this one has just exploded and dripped on my bed. Cool. Oh, I've got foundation everywhere. So this is the Healthy Mix here, and this one is the CC Cream. So as you can see, the Healthy Mix is definitely darker, but that's because I've got shade 52 instead of 51. And the CC Cream is a little bit pink, but I think once it's blended out, it's actually not too bad. Okay, so those are all of the drugstore foundations that were worth noting in this video. I do have quite a lot of other drugstore foundations, but I didn't think they were good enough to fit in this video, so they're staying in my drawer. Hopefully you guys have found this video helpful, and if you guys have any other suggestions or like your favourite drugstore foundations, like I would love to know them, because I'm always on the hunt for a good foundation that's going to last on my oily skin and be pale enough to see my face. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Also, I just want to say I am going to be doing a giveaway for 300,000 subscribers. I can't believe that that is actually a thing. But yes, I will be doing a giveaway, but just hold tight. I'm just like sorting everything out at the moment because I've got a bunch of giveaway stuff that I need to like organise and all that stuff. But yeah, hopefully the 300,000 giveaway, 300,000, I can't even speak. Hopefully the 300,000 subscriber giveaway will be going up soon, but just be patient. But oh my god, you guys, thank you so much for 300k. Like, I can't even believe that this is me. Like, I can't actually believe that that many people are subscribed to me. Like, that is a lot of people. So thank you so much if you are subscribed. Like, it literally has made my life. So I hope you guys all have a great day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!